What is up, everybody? Welcome once again to my channel, and today let's continue with another round of the WCR Tier 2 F1 2018 Championship. And as we are getting ready to start the lobby and the qualifying session, let's get ourselves started then with our track introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Lone Star State, welcome to Southeast Austin and to the Circuit of the Americas, this 20-corner, first ever purpose-built F1 circuit in the US, and all of its 5.5 kilometers draws inspiration from some of the best circuits around the world, from the Maggots and Beckett section between turns 3 and 8, to the turns 16, 17 and 18 that resemble Turkey's turn 8 with its iconic steep turn 1 approach. We all have the ingredients for a good race today. In terms of the tires, as you can see, we have the ultra soft, super softs and softs at our disposal. And as we move into the standings, we have Jensen still leading the championship after extending the lead at Mexico to Q, with the difference is now 31 points. After that, we have Noiderate in P3 with 86, followed by Zor in 4th with 80. After that, we have an 8 points gap to Black Reverse, who closes the top 5 for the best of the Force India cars. Then we have Overspeed in 6th with 63 points to his name. Then a big gap since Dahl has 48 points to his name in 7th, Tyser in 8th with 38 points to his name, 2 more than Valu, and Nechronical Plug closes the top 10 with 34 points. Moving to the constructors, we have Williams leading the championship with 227 points, followed by Toro Rosso in 2nd with 170. After that, we have Renault in 3rd with 124. After that, we have Alfa Romeo in 4th, still yet to breach the 100-point barrier of points scored in this season. Then 11 points behind, we have Force India in 5th, followed by Ferrari with 56 points. Then we have Mercedes with 41, Red Bull with 34 points, 4 more than 9th place Haas, as McLaren still runs in last place with only 6 points scored to their name. So with that, we can get ourselves into the lobby. Let me just organize my windows on my second monitor real quick. We haven't had any information regarding the weather that we might find for the Grand Prix. I asked the drivers to let me know what climate we are going to find at both qualifying and the race, but it looks like I haven't received any message of the sort just yet. So let me just sort out everything on the details, telemetry and lap data, and let's get ourselves to take a look at some of the cars that are out there on the track. We have BTEC Sim Racer already out there on the softs. Don't know if he's going to try to qualify on the softs or not. He that at Mexico got himself a 9th place finish after a very late race battle with Steph Farrell, the driver that is a reserve at the moment. On the debut race got 10th place, so not too bad for the Haas. She was driving, I believe it is, I'm not sure if it is a male or a female driving that car, at least considering the nickname, but I'm going to go with the thought that it is a female, and I'm going to commentate with that in mind. So she got on her debut a 10th place finish for the Haas. Looks like she is driving the Haas again, but she is a reserve. She's currently in the pits. So let's take a look. Let's continue with BTEC Sim Racer, see what he does on those soft tires that he has on his Toro Rosso. Getting through this, it looks like, yeah, it looks like he's going for a second out lap or something. Maybe invalidated his lap into turn 1. Not sure what happened, but he's still on 0 on his ERS deployment mode, so he's not going for a flying lap right now. Let's take a look at Nechronical Pug, as the pole hasn't been able to finish for a couple races between Italy and Russia. Then he got 5th place at Japan, did not take part of the previous race at Mexico. He is closing the top 10 in the Drivers' Championship. Hopefully he can come back with a good performance to get himself back to the fight of potentially finishing the season on a higher place. Vanish, in the meantime, gets a 143.1, which gets him provisory pole. Bolo beats him promptly on the soft with a 133.3. So let's see what Necronical Puck does. You can see he's pushing at the moment to this Maggots Buckets like sequence all the way up to turn 8, but I think he got his lap invalidated. That is a tricky spot or a tricky sequence of corners to get right with strict track limits. So it looks like he was a victim to those. Videoton gets himself another fastest time of the session so far, as he got himself a 132.0. Is the best so far. The only driver to, sorry, not the only driver, but he set his lap time on the Ultra Softs. Rat crosses the line with a 134.1. Then we have Specs Gamer with a 139.8 as well. Let's take a look at Necronical Pug. I'm sure he's about to start his lap. He's on his 3rd sector at the moment. Let's take a look at Tom, who I believe is about to complete a flying lap of his own. He who is a reserve driver, sorry, not a reserve driver, he is the new full-time driver for the Ferrari team. He who is replacing Beef, who unfortunately cannot race as a full-time driver anymore. And Tom gets 3rd place with a 133.5, gets beaten by, I believe, Vanish with a 132.6, so still has to improve a bit if he wants to get closer to Videoton and dethrone him on the provisory pole. Let's take a look back at the Chronicle Pug, who is going into the pits. He nullifies his lap diary, just started his flying lap. Let's take a look at the American driver, who is currently out of the graphics for the standings, as he is currently 21st in the championship. A bit of wheel spin at the exit of turn 1, always tricky to put the power down smoothly on the exit as it goes downhill. And there we come through the swooping left to right corners, the never-ending left to right combinations into this 1st sector before heading to the right corner of turn 9. As we start now going downhill, very tricky as well to spot the turning points without cutting the corner too much, waiting for the 100-meter marker to go hard on the brakes for this turn 10, I believe this is. Smooth on the power as well on the exit, DRS wide open as we go up through the gears, giving it all from the hybrid power unit before braking at about 80 meters away from this corner number 11, I believe it is the number of it. And before we end sector number 2, 25.6 is the time we posted so far. Of course, he's not on the quickest tire available. Let's see what time he does. Misses the apex there through turn number 15. Now gets through full power through turns number 16, 17 and 18. Quite reminiscent of turn 8 at Turkey before opening the corner. But he lost the rear. That was too much ballast there on the American driver's car, and he couldn't quite keep it in control. I think he cut the corner, but he didn't. Yeah, he cut the corner. He did a 134, but he was nullified. His lap was nullified. I'm sure he's going to try again, but let's see what he does. In the meantime, we have overspeed. Not sure if he's going for a flying lap or not. We can jump to Evil Kiwi. I would like to see what he does. He needs to get a good performance here today if he wants to get back at Jensen. The gap is once again 31 points to the championship lead. So he needs to gain points on Jensen. He needs to beat the championship leader today to still have a chance at taking the championship in case something happens to Jensen. Of course, he's not in control of his destiny. He can't just win the race and Jensen finish second and win the championship. So he needs any sort of misfortune to happen to the Williams driver as he comes into the pits once again. Probably got his lap nullified or just wasn't happy with his performance. So let's take a look at another debutee as we have Senior Magic, as the German is driving for the Mercedes team today. I believe he is on a flying lap of his own. Let's go on board with him, see what he does. It's going once again on the straight down into turn 11. DRS wide open once again almost 330 kpms as you look just past the 100-meter marker board, nailing the apex of that left-hander quite nicely. You have to open up the trajectory, the angle of attack to this double apex right-hander, so to speak, before opening wide. Once again, you go quite wide on the entry to try to carry maximum speed through the corner. It has a bit of camber to it, so you can carry more speed than you might think at first. Full throttle if you can through corner 16, 17 and 18. Then a small dab on the brakes for corner number 19. A bit harder on the brakes for corner number 20. Smooth exit. And he gets the newest provisory pole position, 131.7. Very good lap there from the debutee, the German, getting the Mercedes on the first position of the grid for the race, unless someone dethrones him later on this session. So looking at the other debutees, we have Bolo in 90, still on his outlap. Bolo and Tom are on their outlaps, and I believe Tom is further ahead or behind. No, Tom is further ahead on the track. So let's follow the Ferrari driver, see what the Turkish driver can do today, see what kind of performance he can display as he takes the number 23 to the best place possible, and see what he can do today on his debut qualifying session here on the WCR. You can see how steep is the approach to turn 1. It's a very good corner. I really like when driving this corner, I really like to go late on the brakes, just as late as you can, really, and you can really go on the brakes later here than everywhere else, considering how late you brake for the corner. You couldn't brake that late anywhere else, and it is only possible because of how steep the climb is into turn 1, and of course the apex of it is also blind, so you need to trust your instincts as you go on the turning point for turn 1, just to carry the maximum speed without missing the apex. Without missing the apex, he did turn number 10, a bit of a tank slapper there on the exit, could have gone smoother on the throttle as he exited the hairpin. DRS wide open once again. You have a Sauber there, not sure if he's on a flying lap of his own. I don't believe so. Let's see what Tom does. Gets 25.7 pretty fast through the second sector. Let's see how he completes now this more technical part of the circuit. Looks like smooth on the exit of corner number 15 through 16, 17 and 18. We don't see nothing wrong with his line. Car seems pretty stable through that fast right-hander. Let's get to turn number 20, last corner of the circuit. Try to not get it too tight on the entry or you might cut it, and he crosses the line with a 133.2 on the softies, the quickest of the soft runners so far. So nicely done from the Ferrari driver, actually quicker than his teammate. So let's see how that inter-team rivalry is going to develop as we get into the qualifying and then to the race. Let's take a look at Spax Gamer. You did a very good qualifying performance at Mexico, but then couldn't avoid, even before turn 1 crash, there was just too little space for too many cars, and so Spax Gamer couldn't avoid a crash, and despite qualifying in the top 5, he was out of the Mexican Grand Prix even before turn 1. Let's see what he does today. He's on the Super Softs. I'm not sure if his fastest lap time was on the Super Softs. That's 32.2. As Evil Kiwi gets the newest fastest lap, 131.415. Very good lap from Evil Kiwi. Let's see if Jensen is going to try and beat his lap, who is currently... The Williams driver is currently on the Super Softs. Evil Kiwi did that on the Ultra Softs. Let's see how that goes for him. Usually Evil Kiwi has been able to has not been able to make the one-stop work and keep himself in front of Jensen, so it looks like it might be Jensen this time around going for the one-stop, starting on the Super Softs and finishing the race on the softs. Usually for the past 2 or 3 races, Jensen has started the race on the softest available compound, and then he gets a lead using those softer compound of tires, and then he is able to carry that lead even though he pits once compared to the other competitors. He pulled off enough of a lead early on the race that he can still re-overtake them with sometimes softer but mostly fresher tires at the end of the race. looks like he's not doing the same today. Looks like he's going to go for a super soft race, and Evil Kiwi is the one going on the more aggressive strategy. Currently on pole, the Toro Rosso driver, and he needs to start taking those risks. He needs to get any way he can some points on the championship leader. Let's see what he does. As he's about to start his flying lap, I believe. Yes, he's still conserving ERS. So let's take a look at the number 91. Let's follow on board with the Dane and see what he does. You need a smooth exit out of the last corner. Maximize the speed. Go full on the energy deployment system. That's how it goes. You just brake a bit before 100 meters away from the corner, clipping the apex very nicely. Smooth on the power as well. Didn't see any instability with the rear tires whatsoever. Just get to turn 3 now. 4, 5, 6, 7, and as we wait then for the left-hander of turn number 8. Very fun section of corners to do then number 9. It is a bit frustrating. You can't go on the power as early as you can before going downhill to turn 10. And then 100 meters away from the corner, once again, he went on the brakes a little bit later than that and actually managed to go still and clip the apex quite nicely. As you get now on the exit up through the gears. Once again, I believe the upcoming corner is number 11. About 70 meters away from the corner is where you start going on the brakes. Let's see what he does. 1.1.7. We weren't able to see his specific sector to time for some reason, but it is beating the quickest lap time so far, which is now owned by Bolo with the 130.8. Can Jensen also get below the 131s? Let's see. It looks like on pace to do so. Gets to turn corner number 19 using all the width of the track. Now you have a black box on the right hand side. You use that as your braking point for corner number 20. Crosses over the line, and it is a 1:31.9 on the super softs. He becomes the quickest driver on the super softs, and he gets himself 4th place. Nicely done from the championship leader Bolo with an amazing lap. The debutee getting himself the provisory pole. So both, at least 2 of the debutants today have done amazing laps. Senior Magic getting 3rd, and Bolo just almost getting a second faster than the Mercedes driver. As I'm going to jump now to Evil Kiwi, see who gets the fastest out of the battle for the championship, who gets the fastest lap. Videoton and a Chronicle Pug have retired from the session, either from crashes or because they are satisfied with their performances. Jensen got himself down to 5th place in the meantime, followed by both McLarens. Let's just take a look down the order, see if anyone is on the track a bit further ahead. Where is Kiwi? Kiwi is ahead. Let's see, where is Vanish? Okay, so we have Vanish, then we can check Evil Kiwi, and then Spax Gamer. Looks like all 3 of them are about to start their flying laps. We have just about 30 seconds to go on the session. Let's see what the McLaren driver does. Well, the camera, the onboard camera isn't really helping me. Thank you very much. But yeah, Vanish, who did not race at Mexico, so it is also his debut race. Let's see what he can do here today. The Chronicle Plug in the meantime has been dropping down. BL, look, is also out of the qualifying session. Couldn't better 15th place. The checkered flag has been shown to Bolo, Jensen, Noiderate and Steph Farrell, so those drivers won't be able to improve on their performances so far. So best case scenario, they'll maintain their position. Senior Magic beating Evil Kiwi for 2nd place as the time runs out for him as well. Tom has retired from the session, is not going to improve, on 10th place. As I can see some support for Noiderate in chat, so looks like he's a little bit of a faint favorite. He crosses the line in 10th place, so at least it will be 10th place, if not lower, from the Renault driver. Lots of drivers retiring as they are satisfied with their performance. The Spax Gamer looks like he wasn't improving his lap, so he's retiring himself. We have Vanish about to complete his lap, and now he retires from the session as well. Don't know if it was a connection issue or if he just wasn't happy with his performance. Or now getting Evil Kiwi to corner number 19, a little bit wide there. Don't know if he's going to get a slap on the wrist for that one. Getting to corner number 20, could have taken that a little bit tighter as he crosses over the line, and he's going to be P2 for the Toro Rosso driver. He's going to start on the front row of the grid. Fortunately for him, he needed that one to be able to deploy his strategy in the way he wanted to do. So let's get ourselves through the loading procedures for this the end of this qualifying session. We have BTEC Sim Racer with a 5-place grid penalty. Let's take a look at what for. And it is for a collision with Black Reverse. Not sure what happened to him, but he does have a penalty. So taking the results, we have Bolo in first, Evil King in second, Senior Magic third, Spax Gamer in fourth, Videoton in fifth, Jensen in sixth, BTEC Sim Racer in seventh, but he's going to get dropped a few places. Then you have Vanish, then Iconical Pug, Noidrate, and Tom will be promoted to 10th place. So Jensen is the best of the super soft runners, or the super soft qualifiers for the race, as we wait for the loading procedure and the formation lap to be completed. At least from the information I've gathered, we have 3 strategies that could be used in this race, so to speak. We have the super softs. To the softs, those who start on the super softs and want to end the race on the softs can pit between the laps of 8 and 11 to get themselves safely to the end without major tire issues. Of course, you can also do the reverse. You can start on the softs and finish on the super softs by pitting between the lap 16 or 19. And if you are a little bit more confident or a little bit more comfortable, or you have tire saving skills a little bit above average, you could also go from the softs to the ultra softs, still do the one stop, but extend the softs for a little bit more. Just pit between laps 18 and 20 and you'll be good to go for a very quick lap or a stint at the end of the race. So we are going to get ourselves all the details we need. Check the tires. I want to check. You can see also the lap data, so you guys know how everyone is lapping. As we have Bolo, the debutee, the Turkish driver, takes himself pole on the first race that he takes here at WCR. Evil Kiwi can't better second place, even though it's still a good performance from the Toro Rosso driver. Senior Magic, also another debutee in P3, Spax Gamer in P4, just like at Mexico. Let's see if he avoids any crashes here today. Videoton in P5 with a very good qualifying, one of the best, I would say, of the season so far. I don't have the data for the qualifying, only for the race finishes, but I would say it is one of his best qualifying performances of the season. Jensen, very good as well, being the quickest of the super soft starters. And BTEC Sim Racer, for some reason, is still in 7th. Didn't he have a 5-place grid drop? Didn't he have a 5-place grid penalty? I don't know what happened there, but yeah, apparently he's still starting in 7th, with Vanish on his debut race as well in 8th, Necronical Pug in 9th, and Noiderate closing the top 10. Then you have another debutee, Tom, in 11th. Black Reverse, that is a little bit uncharacteristic of the Belgian driver of the Force India. Couldn't better 12th place. He's going to be able to start on brand new super soft tires for him, but nonetheless it is a little bit subpar. It was a little bit subpar, his performance here at this Grand Prix. So let's see if he can get himself on the points. He's the only driver, the Belgian driver is the only driver who has finished every single race of the season on the points. So let's see if the Force India driver can still do a recovery drive to get himself on those points paying positions at the end. As we have every driver getting themselves on their grid slots, some quicker than others. We have Rat, unfortunately, the Williams driver, isn't having a better form than his days at the at the Mercedes team. He left Mercedes to join Williams and still complete the all-Dane lineup that this team has, but unfortunately for him, it doesn't result on an improvement in form. as we have now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. Lights out, and away we go for the USA Grand Prix. Bolo not having the greatest start. Senior Magic getting a better start than the Red Bull driver. We have Evil Kiwi going down the inside into turn 1, challenging for the lead, and there is Carbon Fiber flying. I believe Evil Kiwi gets the lead. Bolo drops down to P2. Spax Gamer with a good start gets himself to P4. Senior drops down to drops down to P4. Then we have Jason up to P5. Videoton drops to P6. Tom from 10th to 7th. Vanish in 8th. The Chronicle Pug maintains 9th. Black Reverse already starting in P12 and making his way up to P10. A great start from the Belgium driver, as we have Vanish having a little bit of a off-track excursion, or at least out of the racing line. He gets shoved off by Black Reverse, and he also might lose a place for BTEC Sim Racer. Let's see who's going to be trying to prey down on the position, and he does get past Vanish as they are going on a drag race to see who gets the last of the points, paying position into the next big braking zone. Let's see who's the last of the late breakers. We have also a few battles down the order. Spax Gamer still battling with Senior Magic, as Magic goes around the outside of this double apex right-hander, so to speak. Let's see how he does, and Vanish has left the session. He has vanished from the lobby, so to speak. Unfortunately, I don't know if it was just connection issues or if he just got frustrated and left, but he unfortunately is just dropping down the order. Spax Gamer managing to defend from... Sorry, no, he didn't manage to defend from Senior Magic. Senior Magic got past with a move at turn 15 and gets himself up to P3. So once again, you have Evil Kiwi trying to pull away. It's already over 1 second lead to Bolo, who's in second, followed by Senior Magic, Spax Gamer in P4, Jensen in P5, Tom in 6th. Then we have Videoton in 7th, who dropped a couple places, unfortunately for him. We have Necronical Pug in 8th, Black Reverse in 9th, so very well done from the four-cylinder driver, and it does look like Vanish had connection issues. He dropped to last place, 3.5 seconds behind the closest car, which is the Haas of Steph Farrell. But unfortunately, and it looks like we might have a mistake from Evil Kiwi. He dropped to P2. Now Bolo got past the Toro Rosso driver, and it might be the pressure. Evil Kiwi might be pushing a little bit too much. He might start to get desperate, as he knows he needs a win. He needs to take points from Jensen if he wants to have a chance at the championship. He dives down the inside of this left-hander. Let's see how he does now as it switches onto the inside. Looks like Bolo goes a bit braver on the brakes. Evil Kiwi tries the switchback, but is not successful. Are we going to see a lunge from the inside from him? No, he refrains from any maneuvers, as we have another round of the Senior Magic Spax Gamer battle as we get to corners number 16, 17 and 18, almost side by side between those two. A bit wide on the exit from Evil Kiwi, as we could see on the shot before getting these two through the camera. And the Chronicle Pug goes very wide. I don't know what happened to him. Maybe a lockup, maybe a crash. He rejoins the track. Overspeed needs to do some evasive action there, but manages to keep it safe. Necronical Pug with a major mistake into corner number 19. Maybe just forgot the braking zone and gets himself down to P11. He's not going to quit though. He had a look at the inside of Overspeed, but he has himself the frustration and crashes out of the race. Unfortunately for him, he just got too frustrated. Maybe he got even front wing damage when he ran wide at corner number 19, and he is out of the race. Back to the front, we have still Bolo battling, still leading Evil Kiwi. Senior Magic and has found a couple car lengths from Spax Gamers. We have BTEC Sim Racer battling Black Reverse and gets through to P8. So Black Reverse gaining a couple places from the start, but couldn't avoid BTEC Sim Racer overtaking him. And we have another round of the Bolo versus Kiwi battle as he goes later on the brakes into this left-hander at the end of the DRS zone. I believe DRS is already available to use for these drivers. And Bolo comes back at him with a late lunge down the inside. It's going to be the switchback for Evil Kiwi though. It's going to be a drag race. Let's see who gets the better traction. Bolo is going to have the inside into this turn 8 from Turkey-like sequence. And he does manage to hold on to the lead. What a great maneuver there from the Red Bull driver. He's giving a fight to Evil Kiwi. This is exactly what Kiwi didn't need, as Black Reverse gets a slap on the wrists there for one too many off-track excursions. Mostly, I would say, battling with BTEC Sim Racer, and gets himself a 3-second time penalty. Bielli started the race in 15th. He has made his way up to 13th. He just overtook Neudereit for 13th place. Let's see if Neudereit comes back at him. Looks like he does. He goes late on the brakes. The Singaporean driver in the number 33, and he gets past. Let's see now. Bielli looks like he got a better exit, trying to make the switchback work, but there is not enough space, and Neudereit manages to hold on to 13th place. Very well done from the Renault driver. We also have Specs Gamer once again very close to the back of Cinemagic. Jensen, despite having harder tires, is not too far off this group and is sure to pick up any pieces that might come his way. I'm pretty sure Evil Kiwi is going to close in on Bolo, but it looks like the gap is just way too much for the Czech driver to try anything against the Turkish driver coming into the end of the DRS zone, and is going to have to stay put in second place for the time being. This is really not what he wanted. BTEC Sim Racer and Black Reverse come to blows once again. BTEC Sim Racer took advantage on that time. Bilal uses DRS to get past Neudereit and is back up into 13th place. Let's jump back to the front once again. Let's get through the last couple corners. There's a couple car lengths advantage to Bolo. Let's see if Evil Kiwi has enough. Let's see how good of an exit he might get. A little bit of a tank slapper there, but DRS is going to be wide open on the back of that Toro Rosso. Let's see if there is any lunges into the inside of turn number 1. Looks like there is a lockup on the left front from Evil Kiwi. There might have been contact with the side pod of the Red Bull as well, but Bolo managing to keep himself in the lead of the race at the moment, as Vanish decided to not try to recover after his disconnecting issues and is the second victim of this Grand Prix. So Bolo got himself a couple of car lengths on Evil Kiwi, as Videoton gets another, I believe it is the 3-second time penalty for the Alfa Romeo driver. Let's see now if maybe Senior Magic or Spax Gamer. You can see Spax Gamer is very close to the back of this Mercedes, even though everyone has DRS at their disposal. Will we see any moves? Spax Gamer goes around the outside, goes late on the brakes over the curb. That gives you a little bit less traction, so you have to be very careful with that one, but wasn't able to make a move work. Tom is also challenged by BTEC Sim Racer. I believe the Toro Rosso driver is going around the outside to corner number 13, I believe that is. And now we have Black Reverse picking a piece of that, getting to turn 15 on the inside. It's now going to see who gets the better traction. BTEC Sim Racer has the inside line, and he does, and he is able to maintain himself ahead of the Force India driver, but let that be a warning, as Black Reverse unfortunately gets the second time penalty of the race for him. But let that be a warning that Black Reverse isn't too far away, and if BTEC Sim Racer tries to attack at a moment that it doesn't work for him, the Belgian driver is there to pick up any pieces. BTEC Sim Racer lunges the inside of the Ferrari into turn 1, even though the number 23 goes on the switchback, can't quite get the traction down enough to keep himself side by side with the Toro Rosso driver, and up Sim Racer goes to P number 7. Taking again our way to the front, Bolo is trying to pull away from Evil Kill. He's just hanging on to the gap, hanging on to that gap. Senior Magic also lost a couple car lengths to the Toro Rosso driver as Senior Magic goes around for a spin, and I'm not the menu didn't help me there. I don't know if he actually went into the wall, but he dropped down to 5th place. And once again, this is exactly what Jensen needed. Jensen just needs to stay in this group, not have any issues, and make his super softs work. This might have been the exact worst timing for Evil Kiwi, as Evil Kiwi left the session. Evil Kiwi has disconnected, unfortunately for him. What a shame, as he really did need to get a good performance here today to gain points on the championship leader. Jensen, in the span of 2 sectors of this track, finds himself from P4 to P3, and this might be the race where the chances of the fight for the championship are done. Evil Kiwi keeps on dropping places, as he hasn't rejoined the lobby just yet. But now with my vet, I'm going to try. I'm getting asked by one of the moderators. I'm going to try and invite. I'm sorry about this, but I'm going to try and invite Evil Kiwi to the lobby. Give me a moment, real quick. Come on, Evil. I can't invite him. I can't invite Kiwi. Maybe Diary, as he is the lobby host, maybe Diary is the only one who can invite Evil Kiwi back into the lobby, as Diary is currently in 16th place. If you would like to take the hit and invite Evil Kiwi for the lobby, maybe he can do that. But yeah, we have Bolo only 4 tenths away from Spax Gamers, so we might have a battle for the lead between the Red Bull and now the McLaren driver. Jensen only needs to stay within the RS range and just be calm and be consistent and do his job and hopefully get himself the championship. I'm not sure. He has a 31 point lead at the start of the race. I am not sure if he's going to... Oh, Spax Gamer goes into the pits. That's why he was shown ahead for a brief moment there, but he's the first of the leaders to get into the pits. BTX Racer, sorry, not BTX Racer, but Senior Magic follows him. Let's see how they do. They are going to switch for a set of Super Softs, so they are going to pit stop once again later on. For sure, we have let's see, Spax Racer on the Super Soft. We have Senior Magic on the Soft, so he's going to try to take those softs for 20 places. For 20 laps, I'm sorry, and try to take them home. Evil Kiwi also switched to the soft tires. I don't know if he's back on control of his car or not, but he is back on the softs. Let's see if Kiwi can join once again. So jumping to the front, we have Jensen. Now less than a second separates him from the race leader. Let's see if he can go for an attack on the Turkish driver. No, he opts not go for it. Of course, the gap was a little bit too big, but Jensen has much better tires, I would say, at this point than the Turkish driver of the Red Bull. As we have Overspeed battling for position with Videoton, both Alfa Romeo Saubers duking it out for 5th place. Overspeed takes the advantage on that particular battle. We also have Norderate and Steph Farrell battling for the last point spank position. Norderate keeps himself ahead as Diary gets also overtaken by Bilal. Look, Diary got overtaken by the Ferrari, but he comes back through the inside on corner number 15. Xpax Gamer gets a bit held up between these two ways. Gets now better traction. Look at that cornering speed. Look at the traction from Spax Gamer, and overtakes both the Force India and the Ferrari through corners number 16, 17 and 18. What a move there from Spax Gamer, overtaking both cars in the span of a single corner. Very well done from him as more people come into the pits, including the race leader Bolo. He comes out of the pits on a set of Super Softs, and we have Black Reverse out of the race. Not sure what happened there. Couldn't quite catch where the Force India car was, but maybe spun and crashed out at the exit of turn 1. So unfortunately for the Belgium driver, it is the first retirement of his in this championship. Very unfortunate for him. So we're going to take a look at the lead. It is Jensen. It is a 9-second gap to the second car on the pack. Overspeed is going to have DRS at his disposal, I would say. Everything looks awfully slow. Why did he slow down midway to the corner? Oh, we do have a virtual safety car. So Black Reverse retiring brought out a virtual safety car, so everyone must comply with the speed limit, of course, for a brief period of time. But maybe Evil Kiwi can rejoin the lobby. I'm not sure if Evil Kiwi is still in the lobby or if he is back on the lobby, so it would be nice to see if he can rejoin on that Toro Rosso and still fight for a point spin position. As we have green flag racing once again, and it is going to be another battle between Steph Farrell and Spax Gamer. as they go through this corner number 19. Let's see who takes the advantage. It is Spax Gamer, who still continues to make up places on his much fresher set of super softs. And yes, he's getting in fights, but if he can get through all the cars as quickly as he has been, he might be a contender for the race win, especially because he is currently ahead of Bolo. Looks like the McLaren driver has to pit once again, but if he pulls enough of a lead, he might be a contender for at least a podium, considering Jensen he hasn't stopped yet, but is only going to do one more stop. Spax Gamer is also going to do one more stop, so it's a two-stop strategy for the McLaren compared to the one stop of the Williams, and the gap is quite large. I would say about 15 seconds between Spax Gamer and Jensen. So let's see how that one develops throughout the race, as he's now hunting on the Renault of Noidorate. So within the next few laps, I'm expecting an overtaking attempt to be had. Let's see how it goes. We have BTEC Sim Racer quite close to overspeed, so at least into turn 1 he's going to have DRS at his disposal. Let's see if he's going to try to make any maneuver. Gets too wide there, maybe some form of wing damage, or maybe just dirty air not helping the Welsh's chances there, and I'm pretty sure he lost DRS range to overspeed. Let's take a look. Yes, he did lose DRS range to overspeed, and he's going to have to work a little bit harder if he wants to get back to the gearbox of the Alfa Romeo Sauber. Let's jump to Spax Gamer, who's awfully close to Noidorate. Noidorate gets defensive, and let's see, it doesn't give much space to the outside. Spax Gamer has to brake on the curb, but he does get around the outside of Noidorate, and a great maneuver there to get himself past up to P7, as Bolo also makes his way past Diary on the first corner of this track. So Diary and Bolo get both 3-second penalties, unfortunately for them. So that might take a knock at Bolo's chances of defending from Spax Gamer. Also, Bolo is going to take these tires until the end, so he doesn't have the luxury of taking part in many battles under threat of damaging his tires too early and then not being able to get a competitive rhythm later in the race. Maybe force his way into a second pit stop, which would be quite damaging to his strategy, especially now that he has that 3-second time penalty to his name. Diary gets the slips from him, he tries to go later on the brakes than Steph, but he does not get the move done, and he still has to play with 11th place at the moment. So let's see how that one develops for him as well. Looking down the order, we have Tom, just about a second from Tyser. Let's see if he's going to get DRS at his disposal at the opening of this lap number 13. The camera isn't helping me, and no, I don't think he got DRS available to him. We do have BTEC Sim Racer in the pits. He was getting rid of his super softs. He's going to the softs until the end of the race. We also have Steph Farrell on the same strategy, just going to get rid of the super softs for a set of yellow marked soft tires and potentially take them to the end. Let's see what rhythm these two drivers can put on their race, how comfortable they are on the set of softs until the end of the race. Diary gets another 3-second time penalty to his name. Bolo gets past Videoton, and Spax Gamer has been closing down on Rat. Of course, as you guys can see, it is a 7-lap difference in terms of tire wear between Spax Gamer and everyone in front of him. So it is going to be interesting to see how quick Spax is compared to his closest rivals. He might go for a lunge at the inside of the Williams driver. He does. That was an optimistic maneuver, but Rat gave him the space and he makes it easily up to P5. And he has been gaining time on Jensen, I would say. Even though he's overtaking lots of cars, he has been making time up to Jensen. I would say this is probably time for Jensen to pit. Yes, it is. So Jensen comes into the pits. It might be Overspeed's time to pit as well. Let's see. No, it does not go to the pits, but those who are on the super softs, this is the time to switch into a set of softs. There goes Jensen It gets a bit held up, or is it just lag on my end? I believe it, yeah, it just teleported out, so it was lag on my end. Overspeed inherits the lead of the Grand Prix. Let's see where the Williams driver gets at as he comes out the pit lane in 5th. Neuderates is very close to Jensen, but not able to overtake the Dane into turn 1. So he comes out just sorry, Bolo is just right behind Neuderates, so we might have another battle there for 5th place. Let's see how that one does, as we have Diary in the pits. We have also Tom and Tyser in the pits. Let's see, will Neuderates get overtaken by Bolo? Of course, Bolo has much fresher tires at this point, and he doesn't even need to wait for the DRS zone, as there is contact between the two. I would say Bolo didn't really let too much space to Neuderates. That could have been ending in the wall for the Singaporean driver, as he gets demoted down to P6. And Spax Gamer comes out ahead of Jensen, I would say, by 5 seconds, with clean air in front of him, as Overspeed also has to pit soon. And yes, the McLaren driver will have to pit again, but there is a very high possibility of Spax Gamer just coming out maybe on a brand new set of Super Softs, or maybe even Ultra Softs, and being very quick later on the race compared to the older, harder compounds that Jensen has on his Williams. We might see Spax Gamer take the win here today, as Overspeed is getting to the pits. The McLaren driver is going to inherit the lead. And I would say Rat is also coming to the pits, as I would say it is about time. No, it does not. He's going to take his tires for another lap. He just gave DRS to his own teammate. I don't know if that was planned or not, but just gave DRS to his own teammate. He's going to let him through, not give him too much trouble. Allow Jensen to climb up to P2, as the gap is just over 4 seconds between 1st and 2nd place. Overspeed is coming out of the pits side by side with Evil Kiwi, who I imagine has returned to the lobby. And Evil Kiwi is back to 7th place. Bolo also made a move on Rat. Maybe a bit of a moment coming out of turn 1 from the Williams driver, who must be having quite a bit of suffering on his super soft tires. He is the driver with the oldest laps on the tires at the moment. The second driver, there is a bunch of drivers with 6 laps, and that's the highest amount of laps they have on the tires apart from Rat. So Rat does need to pit soon, unless he's going for an alternate strategy. But yeah, let's see how that one develops for the Dane. Looking down the order, we have Bolo also very close to Jensen. Let's see how this one develops. Of course, Bolo has older tires. Jensen basically lets Bolo through. He's not looking really for battling, but he does pull off the switchback. Bolo was very aggressive coming into turn 15, and Jensen just says thank you very much, makes the switchback work, and keeps his 2nd place intact. Of course, that exchange might cost him a little bit of time to the McLaren driver, but McLaren driver needs to extract the best out of his tires, as he needs to start pulling the gap away. But Bolo, actually Bolo being this close to Jensen, might come into the hands of Spax Gamer. Great switchback from Bolo, but he can't put the power down correctly at the exit of turn 1. The weight transfer was too aggressive, and he just lost a massive amount of time to the Williams driver to his relief. So now Jensen can put his head down. He has fresher tires. Let's see if Jensen can start pulling away from Bolo after that mistake from the Turkish driver. Moving down the order, let's take a look at any drivers that are close to each other. We have Diary overtaking Bieliluk as the Ferrari driver comes into the pits. We have Overspeed and Evil Kiwi very close to Senior Magic. Let's see if Overspeed is able to overtake Evil Kiwi, or if Evil Kiwi is able to overtake the Mercedes driver. Let's see. DRS is going to be open quite soon on the rear wing of all of these drivers. It looks like, though, the gap is too big between each of them for an overtaking attempt to be had. Evil Kiwi closed in rather drastically on Senior Magic, though. So let's see how that one develops into turn number 1. We have Bolo very close to Jensen, as he had another attempt once again into turn 15. So Bolo is definitely more comfortable, at least so far. Maybe he's pushing more, but at least so far he seems to have a better pace than Jensen. DRS is going to be wide open on the Red Bull. Let's see if it is enough to go for a move into turn 1. The gap looks like too big, but can he go for a lunge? He does not go for it and maintains P3 at the moment. We have Videoton also getting past Overspeed as Rat gets into the pits. Overspeed, I wasn't sure if he had made a mistake or not. Okay, no, it was Videoton getting past Rat as Rat went into the pits to get rid of his 14-lap old super softs. Evil Kiwi tried to have a go at Cinemagic, but it didn't work that time around. Let's see if Evil Kiwi is going to be able to strike again at the upcoming DRS zone. A little bit of a moment there from Overspeed. Might have just a little bit too much ballast compared to the amount of grip he has on the softs at this point of the race. A little bit wide at the apex there from the Hungarian driver as well. And let's take a look at Evil Kiwi. He has the DRS wide open, he has the slipstream, potentially a higher fuel mix and higher deployment on the energy mode. And he gets hard on the brakes. You can see the puffs of smoke coming out from each of the front tires of the Toro Rosso driver. There might be contact there, and there is contact. Both get tangled, and Overspeed says thank you very much and gets himself past, and BT Extreme Racer gets awfully close to his own teammate. Evil Kiwi is getting desperate. I agree, Cinemagic could have given a bit more space there, but we got a very good shot of it. Cinemagic had space to give, but Evil Kiwi was a bit late on his maneuver, so I think it is 50-50 in my opinion. Cinemagic could have given more space, but Evil Kiwi was also late, so we can't really expect Cinemagic to just get out of the way. And there is contact, and both drop to 6th and 7th respectively, as now we have both Alfa Romeos in the top 5 of this race. BT Extreme Racer is also within a second of his teammate. Let's see how this one is going to develop as we get to the second DRS zone. Overspeed is not going to give DRS to Senior Magic unless there is a mistake from the Hungarian driver. Let's see if Evil is close enough. I don't think Evil is close enough to pull off any maneuvers. Let's see who gets the better exit out of the airpin. And it looks like Cinemagic does have a better exit. He does not have DRS at his disposal though, so Evil Kiwi is going to be able to close in a little bit. As we also have Tom very close to Tyser, just not enough to overtake the Renault driver. We have Rat battling with Noiderate, as Noiderate, he made a mistake, he is out. I don't know if he got any sort of damage, nor where he is on the track. Is this turn 1? I am not sure. I'm trying to figure out if he has any damage on his front wing. It doesn't look to me like he has damage, but no, it wasn't turn 1, it was the airpin right before the DRS zone, and either he had contact or just outbroke himself, and he was able to avoid the wall, but unfortunately for him, he gets back down to last place. So, looking up and down the order, we have Evil Kiwi is the closest car, or is the car that is the closest to the car ahead out of everyone. Jensen has been able to close down the gap to Specs Gamer, as the super softs on the McLaren are starting to falter a little bit. The Specs Gamer is going to have to pit again, and that's probably going to be it for his chances at taking the win. I would say that Bolo is the one that has the chance at coming at Jensen and taking the win. Of course, Bolo has 4 laps older tires. He started the race on the Ultra Softs. The Red Bull driver started the race on the Ultra Softs, so had to pit earlier than Jensen. So let's see, Evil Kiwi is going to get DRS on the Mercedes in front of him. Does the Mercedes have DRS? No! The gap might be too big though once again. And it looks like it is. The gap is too big for Evil Kiwi to have a go at that 6th place. We have though the battle from Tyser and Tom. Tyser gets a bit deep through the left-hander there, and Tom just gets easily past and up to 9th. A good debut race for the Ferrari driver, or I mean debut race for Ferrari, because he has taken a race at Japan as a reserve driver. He didn't finish that race, but that was his debut, and on his first race for Ferrari, is going to take points for the team as his teammate is out of the race. Speaking of Tom, he takes a 3-second time penalty of his own. Unfortunately, Evil Kiwi can't get his gap below below half a second. And Jensen, he has been closing down on the McLaren, and look at this, he's right on the gearbox of the number 71. Let's see how it goes. Jensen is most likely going to get the RS on the McLaren. He actually goes down the inside of the hairpin, gets a bit screwy on the exit, can't quite put the power down as early as he wanted, and Spax Gamer is going to take advantage of that. But now Bolo got an invitation to join the party. He's going to get the RS and he's going to get the slipstream on both of them. Jensen gets past the McLaren, and there is a lunge from Bolo once again. What a lunge from the Red Bull driver, and he actually does make it work up to P2. What a move there from the Turkish driver, very confident on the brakes, very brave maneuver to keep himself in contention. He knows that if he got held up by Spax Gamer, it would be the end of his chances of taking the win, especially as he has older tires, and Jensen is definitely no slouch in the league. He's the championship leader for a reason. He's the driver with the most podiums and the most wins of the season for a reason. And Bolo knows that he needs to work if he wants to keep himself up with the pace of the Williams driver. Spax Gamer goes into the pits. He's going to probably change into a second set of the Super Softs, or perhaps with 8 laps to go, if he has any available, he could go for another set of the Ultra Softs. There is a mistake from Bolo there as he gets wide to the exit of turn number 1, and unfortunately for him, it might be the end of his chances of taking the win. Spax Gamer is going to exit the pits on a brand new set of Ultra Softs, and he comes out still in the points in 9th place, right behind Tom. So almost every driver in front of him is on a set of older soft tires, as Spax Gamer is on brand new Ultra Softs. Can he make it once again? There was a big mistake, unless that was just lag. That was a big mistake from Spax Gamer. Looks like he wasn't penalized for that off-track excursion though. But yeah, Spax Gamer does have a chance to still finish in the top 5, if not even better than that, with the tires he has now on his car. Let's see what kind of charge is he able to do. Bolo has been closing in once again on Jensen. Bolo has been pushing this entire race, or maybe it's just quicker than Jensen on pure pace, but doesn't have the same kind of consistency, and also his older tires are not helping. Let's see how the battle between these two develops. Bolo is once again within half a second of the Dane as Irie retires from the race on his own Grand Prix. He didn't have the best of race weekends, the Force India driver, and for the first time it is a double retirement for the Force India team this season. Black Reverse had finished every single race of the season, and he also had finished every single race of the season in the points, but unfortunately for him, not this time around. Bolo going for the switchback at Jensen at the exit of turn 1. The inside line is for Jensen though into turn 2, and Bolo has to stay put in second for the time being. Videoton is also getting rid of the Super Soft tires for a brand new set of the Ultra Soft, so he's also going to be on a charge just like Spax Gamer at the end of the race. Spax Gamer just overtook Tom for P7. They're going to keep ourselves on the fight for the lead. Let's see, will Bolo be able to overtake Jensen? He's going to get the RS available to him, but let's see who gets the better traction out of the corner. Spax Gamer gets a 3-second time penalty for his own. I'm not sure if it is the first or not. Jensen chooses to go to the inside. Bolo, we've seen, is very confident on his brakes as he tries to get around the outside, gets a bit wide, but he manages to keep a wheel within alongside Jensen. He gets now the inside line and gets himself up to first place. This will not be the end of it though, as Jensen most likely has a couple more resources. I don't think Jensen has been pushing his all. I think Jensen, he doesn't need to. He knows that he's getting points on Evil Kiwi. That's all it takes for him to consolidate his championship chances. So realistically, he doesn't need to push himself hard, he doesn't need to battle Bolo and risk a retirement. As Spax Gamer on his charge, once again overtaking Spax Gamer. Will Jensen return the favor to the Red Bull driver? Let's into turn 1. No, it does not. So let's take a look at Spax Gamer, who is just 3 seconds, or just under 3 seconds. As a bit Extreme Racer is going to the pits. He's not happy on that set of softs. even though it looks like he does have front wing damage, and he gets a 5-second stop and go penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So it goes from bad to worse. Yeah, lots of elements missing from the left side of the front wing on that Toro Rosso. So adding to that, he's going to get a 5-second penalty for the end of the race. He's going to come out of the pits outside of the points, but on brand new ultra soft. So let's see how that goes. Jensen has overtaken Bolo on the DRS zone. Even before the DRS zone, on the braking zone for the hairpin, the Dane got past. He's going to use DRS to try to pull away Bolo as the slipstream though, so he's not going to get too far, the Williams. He's not going to get too far, and Bolo will have a chance to fight once again later on. We have Specs Gamer still over 2 seconds away from Senior Magic, because we have a bit of a look there from Bolo at the inside of turn number 15. Jensen, knowing the amount of moves, probably he has knowledge of the amount of moves Bolo has tried to do through the inside of that corner and covering it quite nicely, not giving a chance for the Red Bull driver to have a go through there. He's going to have DRS wide open now, the Red Bull driver. Let's see, will he have a lunge at the inside for the lead? Let's see, no he does not. He stays put in second place and just trying to line up the Williams driver for an overtake attempt at the DRS zone, I would say. Senior Magic is less than a second away from Specs Gamer. Oh, sorry, no, I was looking wrongly. It's Senior Magic that is less than a second away from QE, but Specs Gamer won't have DRS at least soon from the Mercedes driver. The debutee, who's actually on his debut race getting a top 5 finish, is only being bettered by Bolo, who is also his debut race and is actually challenging for the win against the championship leader. So very talented this Turkish driver of the Red Bull. The camera angle is not really helping me. He does have DRS on Jensen, but it looks like he's too far away from the Williams driver. Going to take a look at the Williams driver real quick. The Williams does have more ERS at his disposal. The blue bar, the general amount of ERS is advantageous to Jensen, so he has more to burn, so to speak. Did Jensen make a mistake? I think Jensen just made a mistake, or maybe just went on the brakes too early, a bit wide there from Bolo. Let's see, will he go for a move at corner number 19? No, there is not. There is no space there. And Bolo outbrakes himself, goes a bit wide, doesn't get penalized for that one though. Oh boy, there was a bit... Why is Bolo stopping? Did Bolo disconnect? I don't know, Bolo just hit the brakes, or maybe he had to stop, almost stop, to avoid spinning into the wall. But unfortunately, that might be it for the challenge, even though Bolo has recovered an endless amount of times from mistakes as he was challenging Jensen. So if anyone can come back at Jensen today, it is Bolo. He's been going on a really good pace today. So let's see, we have Specs Gamer. Looks like he made a mistake because he dropped down 4 seconds on Senior Magic. Will the Mercedes driver have a chance at overtaking the Toro Rosso? Looks like not at the moment. He actually dropped and is out of DRS range. QA is out of DRS range from overspeed himself. So Evil QA, despite after the disconnection and going last, getting himself to the top 5. Brilliant race from Evil QA, getting himself to the top 5 after disconnecting. It does not look like Evil QA is able to get points on Jensen here today, unfortunately for him. The only race where Evil QA went on the more aggressive two-stop strategy, it is the race where, well, he actually did not go on the two-stop strategy, but maybe that's just because of the AI, because I don't know if he had reconnected the lobby by the time he pitted for the set of softs. So I don't know if it was the AI putting him on softs or if it was himself and it was just the plan to go from ultra softs to softs. But the one time where Evil QA has the advantage, even in qualifying, it's when he has the disconnection issue and is dropped to P4, unfortunately for him. It is going to take a big knock at the chances of completing any sort of attack for the championship lead by the end of the season. We have, I believe, only 2 more races after this one. So we have 50 points up to fight for in the last 2 races of the championship, and of course the gap won't be that big, so mathematically Jensen could still lose it, but when you are talking about mathematical chances, it means that you are not really able to rely on just yourself and on your performance for the results. As Pax Gamer makes another mistake, he is in the wall, is out of front wing, and he has retired from the race. Unfortunately, that's how it goes. The McLaren is out of the race. He was even challenging for a podium, I would say, with his brand new Ultra Softs, but unfortunately makes a mistake and is out of the race. His AI is going to retire the car, and that's it from the McLaren driver today. Very unfortunate from him not being able, despite doing brilliant performances in both his first 2 races of the season, not being able to finish any of them. Now we are moving to Noidway, which is basically, unless anyone has luck, is not, or unless anyone has very bad amounts of not lucky moments, is not going to get any sort of chance to get in the points today, unfortunately, for the Singaporean driver. And Bolo is too far away to contest Jensen. And looking up and down the order, Overspeed has pulled away from Evil Kiwi, so a mistake from Kiwi as well. These drivers have been using high amounts of ballast on their setups, and as the tires start to degrade, it is very hard to keep them under control. We have Videoton with 5 laps on his set of Ultra Softs. He might be the one to start closing in on Tom and challenge him for 6th place, but apart from this, I don't see any more battles happening. Let's not forget though, we have the penalties, right? The penalty situation might scramble these this current order of affairs up a little bit come the end of the race. So let's see what happens. I would like to see Evil QA challenging Overspeed for 3rd place, but nonetheless Overspeed has kept himself out of trouble. Again, I don't know how many penalties he has, but Overspeed is a deserving podium finisher here today. Evil QA, unfortunately, he drove great, but he did a great race, but unfortunately had the disconnection early in the race that took a real knock at his chances of taking points off Jensen today. We're going to take a look at the race directors. I would like to see the amount of penalties from the Alfa Romeo driver. So let's see Overspeed. Does he have any penalties to his name? We have Overspeed with 1 warning. Overspeed, 1 warning, 2 warnings for Overspeed. Let's see what he has. Does he have a 3rd warning? Just looking for Overspeed. And it does have 1 penalty to his name. Does he have any more than that? He has 1 warning after that. Let's take a look. Overspeed, 1 penalty and 2 warnings. Does he have a 2nd penalty? Overspeed doesn't look like so. No, he does not. Jensen has a 3-second time penalty of his own though. So let's see, Jensen might make more mistakes and lose out to Bolo. I'm not sure how many penalties Bolo has. I believe it is 2 penalties to Bolo's name. I don't know if Evil Kiwi has any penalties of his own. So if Kiwi doesn't have any penalties, he's going to be able oh, I'm getting in chat that Evil QA is showing up as last place for a few people. That's weird. But yeah, that is rather weird. Because for me, Evil QA is in P4. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that he disconnected and reconnected. Maybe some desync, some lag, which is unfortunate. But at least from what I can see, it might get corrected after the race is done. But from what I can see, it is Evil QA in 4th place, potentially 3rd place, depending how many penalties he has and how many Overspeed has by his name. So just getting ourselves to Jensen. He qualified, I believe, in 6th or 7th, got a good start, jumped a place on the start, and then just followed the train from the top 4 through their battling, through their misfortunes, just kept his car within the RS range, not really straining himself too hard. Then Bolo, who was on the same strategy, just on a different starting compound. Bolo started on the Ultra Softs, Jensen on the Super Softs. That's why you see the disparity of laps used on each set of tires. But Bolo also had a brilliant fight to give to Jensen, to not let him pull away too much, but a couple of mistakes. Every single time he got close to Jensen, he always had a mistake that cost him at least half a second, 1 second, 2 seconds, and ultimately he had a major mistake that cost him the 5 seconds that you see right now on your screens. It's Jensen again, brilliant job, just keeping himself composed, went on his strategy, qualified the best out of the super soft starters, and he's getting himself through the last couple corners as he has time to do a little bit of celebratory weaving as well, as he crosses over the line to take home the win of this USA Grand Prix. Bolo on his debut race crosses the line in P2. Overspeed, will he get demoted by Ivikui? Overspeed actually claims P2. P3 for Ivikui. Bolo comes down to P4. That's the amount of penalties he had. Cinemagic in P5. Will Tom get P6? He does get P6. Will he get dropped down? Videoton crosses the line in P7. Tyser and Senior Magic both drop down Tom and Videoton. So it's Tyser in 5th, Senior Magic in 6th, Tom 7th, Videoton in 8th, BTEC Simulator in 9th, and Rat looks like he's going to cross the line, dethroning Videoton and Simracer to come home in P8. Will Steph, it looks like she's too far away to get any close to the top 10 paint positions, or the points paint positions, as the Haas is going to cross over the line 11th, and Noiderate, after a race filled with bad luck, is going to cross over the line outside the points, unfortunately, and is going to finish the race in 12th place. So yeah, there were lots of penalties. There were quite a few penalties here today, scrambling up the pack quite a lot at the end. Especially Bolo being, I would say, the biggest loser. We went from seconds down to 4th. So he probably just didn't have the tires or fuel or ERS to come back at Jensen later on the race. But also that allowed the other cars to close in and take him out of the podium, as it is Videoton, the Hungarian, in P2. And despite Evil Kiwi losing out to Jensen, he still gets the podium, even though it might be a bit of a bittersweet feeling from the Czech driver of the Toro Rosso, because he really had the pace to win the race today, and the disconnection just happened. He still managed to get a podium after the disconnection, which shows how great of a pace he had today. But unfortunately for him, it is how it is. Evil Kiwi did not get any single penalty. Rat also not getting any penalties this Grand Prix. So it is Jensen first, Overspeed second, Evil Kiwi in third, Bolo in fourth, Tyson completing the top 5 as the best of the Renaults, as is followed by the debutee Senior Magic Tom on his first race for the Scuderia Ferrari, finishing in 7th, so very well done from the Dutchman, as we have Rat in 8th, followed by Videoton in 9th, and BTEC Simracer closes the top 10. So this is it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give me a like button. If you did not, the dislike button is, as always, right beside it. Subscribe if you'd like to see more. Hit the bell icon for any notifications of whenever I'm about to start a live stream or to post a video. If you are on Twitch, a follow would be greatly appreciated. Hope to see you guys next time, and have a wonderful day. Goodbye.